Welcome to Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Iowa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean, and this show is dedicated to you, making you a better angler. So, on the phone with us at the Bassmaster Classic, the one and only Darold Gleason. Daryl, man, are you excited? Are you ready to go?
Oh, I'm fired up, man. I don't know if I'm more excited about being at the Classic or getting to come on here with you guys.
Well, hey, I mean, flip a coin. That's a flip a coin deal.
No, like dream come true just to be here and to have a crack at a week like what's ahead of us, man. It's amazing. We're very excited.
Well, another thing too, I want to ask you: do they feed you guys well there?
So far in practice, my wife's been feeding me pretty good. We're staying out at the lake for our we've had practice 3 days now, and she's been taking care of me, like some good home cooked meals, which is what I like.
Oh, heck yeah.
And so, but now we're transitioning. Now we're headed to Birmingham today. And, I have dinner with sponsors tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night we have the big, awards banquet. I think they may feed us a little something. We get to dress up real pretty.
Yeah.
So, going to be fun, man.
Well, good deal.
Now, my question is, how much Mary Kay is Randy going to be selling for this event? At the little ball, at the dinner y'all got to go to in a couple of nights. How much Mary Kay is she going to be selling?
She got a booth.
Well, the booth is like taking up part of the back seat of my truck. We've been on the road now for a couple of weeks, and we got it all, man. We got all the fishing stuff we need. We got all the Mary Kay. We got our dog and all his little toys, and just life is happy.
So the Tundra is full, to say the least.
Yeah, when I left Toledo Bend, I told one of my buddies that it looked like I was going to pop a wheelie on the front end. I had it loaded down pretty. I mean, like I even had stuff under my boat cover in my boat,
right?
Like Tupperware containers of extra baits and things like that. So,
so Steve, so here's how this has worked. So they have practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Daryl, correct me if I'm wrong here. So you go through Friday practice, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Y'all have media days and so on and so forth, Monday, Tuesday, rest of this week, and your last day of practice is Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, Wednesday will be our last day to look at the lake. So it's kind of, it's a little different schedule,
right?
Than other tournaments you practice and then in the water the next day or whatever. So that part's a little different, but yeah, Wednesday is an official practice. So
you'll have a media member in the boat with you, correct?
Yeah, and they actually do blast off just like it's a practice tournament day. So they blast us off in order, and you got to be back on time. It's not, I can't go stay till dark or whatever, however long you want to. You got to be back in, just like a tournament day.
Oh, okay.
That reminds me, several years ago, and Daryl, you'll remember this in South Carolina, on the official practice day, Casey Ashley was late checking in. So he had to be penalized on day one of the Classic for takeoff.
Really?
Right.
He was penalized like an hour or so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 30 minutes or an hour. I forgot what the penalty was, but I think his GPS was set on the wrong time zone. And so, that's something with me just coming from Florida. Trust me, I've already covered myself on that.
Yeah,
I'm scared to death of doing something dumb like that. Yeah, you got to be back on time. And
so the official practice day is, you got to leave, and so all of it's the real deal. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about. So you've been on the water for 3 of your 4 days of practice. We know it's high water over there. It's probably a little dirty water, and I know y'all have got a lot of rain coming. Kind of break down your 3 days of practice here for us. And again, we don't want any secrets or, Keith Combs listening to our station know what Darold Gleason's doing, but, kind of break down practice and what you're seeing.
Well, so with me not having any experience really at Guntersville, I've been here one time in the fall for a tournament, but not having been here this time of the year. Like I just really tried to pick a section of the lake where I think it may go down and learn as much as I could about that. And, there's a whole bunch of eelgrass in the lake this year. And of course, there's a little hydrilla and a little milfoil, but I think eelgrass is the most prominent. So it required a lot of time. Usually for my practices, I'm a deep guy. I'm sitting there staring at my graphs, my Lawrence's, and trying to find fish offshore. But this being the kind of tournament it is, being a grass tournament, I spent a lot of time trolling and fishing, a lot of time chunking and winding. And so I really just try to look at a section of the lake and just find a few key areas where I think I can get some bites. And I did get a few bites here and there, but overall, it was a typical late winter, spring practice for me. Like, you don't get a lot of bites, but when you do get a bite, generally you might be around a few fish.
Mm-hmm.
So after my 3 days of practice, I have just a couple spots that I'm hoping, I can go and, like, when I really settle down and work the area over, there'll actually be a group there, and hopefully they'll be a little bigger than what they were in practice too for me. So,
right.
But I think the main deal on these this time of year to me, I'm trying to look at this as any other tournament, and it's hard with all that's going on, but you got to stay super, super fresh because the conditions are changing, and because fish in the spring are constantly thinking about something different. It's not like a summer tournament where they're just out on structure and you got to go run spots till you find them. Here, I may catch them on one technique Wednesday, and by Friday it might be something totally different. So you just got to stay fresh. So really, I'm just trying to learn the lake and learn what I think are some pretty good areas to where on tournament day I have enough stuff to go run where I might run into them,
Now, Daryl, I know they're predicting a lot of rain for over there. Now, how much rain is coming this week? I mean, how much is the lake already high? I mean, kind of what do you see going on?
So when we got here, I was a little shocked. I just wasn't expecting it to be as cold. The water temperature as cold as it was. It was 48 to 50 degree water. I think 51 is about the warmest I found. And there's a lot of current in the lake. This lake, they really flow the current in and out. So they're pulling it out just as fast as they're pulling it in. So the level really isn't dropping or rising dramatically, but they move a lot of water. And so there's current in places you wouldn't expect there to be current,
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that's going to be a pretty big factor with the water being a touch dirty and cold and current. Clearly that's going to make a little harder to get numbers of bites. But like any, spring tournament, none of us are trying to catch the most fish. We're trying to catch the 5 biggest we can. So there's still that prospect. You just got to run around and kind of make it happen. But it's definitely a curveball, man. Whenever I qualified for this event, looking ahead in early March tournament, I mean, you don't know if it's going to be this cold they could have been spawning here,
Yeah.
But definitely going to be a free spawn derby for us, man, for sure.
Well, Daryl, the thing about this classic being this time of the year now, a lot of the classics, I think since 2007 when it's actually, or 2005 when they actually made the move to the spring, first tournament of the year, basically, and they got away from the fall. In the fall, it's a lot easier to put a pattern together because the weather patterns are more consistent. This really makes it a tougher classic having it this time of year, doesn't it, on all the anglers?
It does. Like, we're all like kind of plotters and thinkers. I like to know where my next bite, where I think it's going to come from,
mm-hmm.
or what, at least, like what rod it might come on. But look, in practice every day, I had 20 rods out. You're doing a lot of different stuff, and you just got to be prepared to change as the fish change. And like, even though we are, we're supposed to get several inches of rain the next few days, the air temperature is a little warmer.
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like to me, being a little warmer rain, that maybe the water temperature won't drop. So, a few more days of even though the water's kind of cold, I find when it stays a certain temperature for several days, the fish will kind of start getting in a little groove, And so, look, I'm being positive. I think they're not going to bite for anybody else, and they're going to tear my bait to pieces. That's what I think.
Well, another thing, too, that, Daryl, you won't have to contend with, at least I hope for day one, is boat traffic. A guy like Matt Herring's a local guy. He's kind of the favorite. A lot of people are going to be following Matt, especially locally. He lives 20 minutes from Gunnersville. But if you catch him on day one, you're going to have a little entourage on day 2 and 3 following you around, wanting to know what you're doing and where you're catching them. So how does that factor in your decision-making, where you're going to start or where you want to be at a certain time of day?
Right. Well, for me, that's like a mountain I'll try to climb on day 2. Like, I just want to get in contention day 1, and then we'll try to manage that. But I know I have a few friends bringing their boats, and some people going to be out watching for sure. And, I think I'll be able to manage that okay. I had some spectators follow me whenever I was at the FLW event, and it wasn't that big a deal. But, with the names I'm fishing against, I'm not expecting to have a big entourage follow me around. They're going to be around the other guys, seeing what they're up to. But, yeah, if I have a great day 1 and get in contention, I could see some people, coming and seeing what's going on. But I think most of the people doing that, man, are fans of the sport, and they get what we have on the line, and they'll be reasonable. You know, they'll make it to where they're not going to affect anything. So I would love to have a crew follow me on day 2. That meant I did my job.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good problem to have. Well,
yeah, that's the dream, man. Just want to get in contention after day 1 and go from there.
So, what are you seeing on the lake? I know you're going shallow. Is a drain deal, grass deal, is bridges play? Will anything be out deep? I know there's a lot of things going on right now. How do you kind of see this thing playing out? Like a big sack on one day and then 14, 15 pounds from there on? Or is it setting up where somebody can really catch them all 3 days?
Kind of like fishing Toledo and Rayburn. I mean, I've been seeing the winning weights from coming back from home. But then when you look through the field, it's not like everybody's catching them. And that's always potential. Someone may have a special place or special bait figured out, and they might be about to drop 30 on us every day. But
yeah,
from the few anglers I've talked to, and I hadn't talked to many of the guys, but and for myself, I think it's going to be like the last time they were here. There's potential for 30-pound bag every day, but there's potential to catch 16 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to stay real consistent, I think. And it's just based on, to me, it's based on you're not getting 30 bites a day where you can weed through all those fish. I think for me, if I get 10, 12 bites on day 1, man, I'm going to be ecstatic. That's going to be a lot of bites for me.
Right.
And I know how it goes. 5 or 6 of them may be great big ones, and then they all might be 2-pounders. So I do think just based on the conditions, there's a lot of volatility. But again, the crew I'm fishing with has a lot of experience here, and they're some of the best in the world. So would I be shocked if someone goes out and, wrecks them? No, I wouldn't be at all. But I do think this would be a fun event for people to follow, because I feel like you're going to see people in the top, let's say top 10, doing a lot of different things.
Well, the biggest question and the biggest thing you've had to figure out is what song are you coming in with during the weigh-ins. That is so important to people.
Yeah, and we had some fun with that, man. We did a bunch of group texts with friends. Kevin was part of those.
About 3 months worth of group text, Steve.
Yeah.
Not a week. Hey, let's figure this out tonight. It's about 3 months worth of.
We didn't want to make a rash decision, right? And so we even had friends over at the house for dinner and stuff, and we'd always somehow a speaker would come out and we'd start playing songs, seeing what they like.
Well, let me tell you how this worked. It was, Randy, what do you think of this? She says no. Okay, next.
Yeah.
On to the next one. Yeah.
So,
and then look, honestly,
she was judge and jury.
Of my happy marriage, that's how it stays happy. I say, what do
there
you
you go.
She says, don't like it. I say, okay, I don't either.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Yeah.
So we ended up kind of just done like a fun, it's a rap song, but it's kind of fun and upbeat. It's called Welcome to the Party.
Oh, cool.
And so I thought the chorus was kind of cool or whatever. Hopefully get the crowd pumped up, and it'll kind of introduce myself, to the crew. Welcome to the party. So it'll be fun, man. We're looking forward to it all. It's still hard to really imagine all that coming out in the arena, that song playing, and seeing all the people screaming and cheering and all that stuff for everybody. It's gonna be a show, man. I can't wait.
Well, we're looking forward to it, Daryl. We can't wait to see exactly how you do it. And again, folks, you can follow this on Bassmaster Live. You get to see exactly what Daryl's doing, where he's at in the standings day to day, and the decisions he's having to make.
Or if you're at the expo, you can come by the V&M booth and watch us party in the V&M booth, because we're gonna have live going on as well.
Oh, there you go.
Team Gleason. Party going on in the V&M booth. I can promise you that.
There you go.
I hope it's a happy party. But listen, I will tell y'all, this is one of those tournaments where, you might go a few hours out of bite, and I'm just telling you from my practice. I would go sometimes 3-4 hours out of bite and pull up on a spot, and I could get multiple bites. So this is really, to me, one of those ones daily where anyone's in it till the very end.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's a special lake. You can stop somewhere and get 3 special bites, and all of a sudden your day changed. So
yes.
It's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to having my shot at doing that. It's going to be exciting.
Good deal. Daryl, good luck, buddy. We're pulling for you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you next week as the winner of the Bassmaster Classic.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you later. Good luck, and I'll see you later this week.
All right, buddy. Thank y'all, man. Y'all be careful getting over here.
All right. Darold Gleason. He's over at the Bassmaster Classic, got his practice time in. He sounds pretty confident, Kevin.
He really does.
Daryl's not a guy that going to be real flamboyant about what he's doing or where he's at or how good he's catching them. He's cautious.
This is Steve. This is a lake he's not that familiar with, but he is. And I've talked to Darold every day after his practice, just checking on him. And Gunnersville is so much like Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn.
Yeah.
It fishes so much the same way this time of year. He really feels at home. He really feels comfortable with it. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here with him, because he's had a decent little practice. He won't tell you that. So, you know, he could make this thing happen. He really could. And we both know it is life-changing.
Oh, no,
it
no
is
doubt.
life-changing. No matter if you're Darold, who's a rookie on FAW Tour this year, or Kevin Van Dam when he won it for his 5th time.
Right.
It is life-changing when you win this event.
Exactly. And speaking of life-changing, we have sponsors. And if you're interested in sponsoring us, please contact us through our Facebook page. Or if you know me or Kevin, you can give us a ring, send us a text or whatever. We'd love to have you as a possible sponsor of this show. Tackle Talk Live would like to welcome The Boat Shop as our newest sponsor, a dealership in tune with what your boat or engine needs to stay on the water. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your engine running right. A certified Yamaha dealer and home of the best motor on the market, the Yamaha Show. They also carry one of the best aluminum boats around, Sea Arc. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let The Boat Shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com to learn more. And Kevin, our numbers continue to rise here at Tackle Talk Live. We have over 1,100 followers, and we've got over 1,000 likes in basically a month.
Yeah.
And we've had last week we had 1,380 views of our last week's segments. We couldn't be happier. Me and Kevin are tickled to death that you're taking the time to watch us and tune us in. We really can't say thank you enough. And again, we want to congratulate Darold Gleason for coming on today, but getting to the Bassmaster Classic was such a feat in itself.
Oh, yes.
Good luck to him and all the guys that are fishing the Classic that we've had on the show. Last week we had Keith Combs on. Mm-hmm. Keith will be there fishing that event as well. And
you said earlier, Steve, make sure to tune in to Bassmaster Live. This is the Super Bowl of bass fishing, something you don't want to miss. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from takeoff till they come to go to weigh in. It will be Bassmaster Live. Then they'll have the weigh in live, which is always fun to watch. It's like I said, it's our Super Bowl of bass fishing.
Yep. So make sure to like us on Facebook and make sure to click subscribe on our YouTube page. And that way you get all the notifications that we're fixing to come on the air. And so we want to appreciate you and say thank you for tuning us in. And we're hoping this show makes you a better angler right here on Tackle Talk Live.